is now well within reach.
Across these fields of northern France, many battles have been won and lost. But in sporting terms, this year's Paris-Roubaix is proving one of the most interesting of them all. Unknowns had taken their chance early, the only way they could hope to win. Now the favourites must recover from their shell-shocked state. Sean Kelly, the winner twice in 4 years, has spent the day so far worried about his usual rivals. But now his thoughts have to be elsewhere. A small group has fled the bunch, led by Kelly. Laurent Fignon is also here. The preliminaries are over. Fignon is the man on form. Already this year he's won the Italian Classic from Milan to San Remo. Everybody is saying he's back after 2 years slowed by injury, even though he's never finished this race. If he wins today, then Fignon's comeback will be complete. This select group of riders is well known to Sean Kelly, but no one, it seems, wants to make the move with him. And even Fignon, the rider who concerns Kelly the most, is not yet willing to take up the chase. How long can they wait? The breakaway has lost ground, but is the pack behind gaining fast enough before both cobbles and time runs out? Still survive from the original 13 that escaped 26 miles outside Compiègne. The prospect of an unknown winning the greatest race of them all has to be faced as a reality. There's just 17 miles to go. Frustration and desperation is all that remains behind in the pack. Guido Bontempi, perhaps the fastest sprint finisher in the world, has escaped alone. Bontempi faces now the longest sprint of his career if he's to win. A man who practically never rides alone has realised that unless desperate measures are taken, the elite of world cycling face the most embarrassing result ever seen in this race. With Bontempi going it alone, the long thin line indicates the reaction from the rest. There are still 80 riders rattling their way to Roubaix, but there are 5 ahead, too frightened to dream of the unthinkable.
But the fear is about to become the fantasy of winning the cruelest of all classics. This lead now can be held if the riders don't make any major mistakes. The fields and cobblestones are giving way to the first signs of the city. The unexpected luck of being in the morning burst has carried the day. Guido Bontempi's lone attempt at catching the leaders failed a few miles after it began. There is now no one but spectators between the pack and a small band of men seeking to make history. But the final segment of cobbles is the gateway to reality, Roubaix, and the realization that there is now no immediate threat from the chase group.
Time has run out. Sean Kelly's undisputed world #1 ranking begins to look tarnished as the all-day escape has succeeded. Kelly and the rest of the world's leaders are facing their heaviest defeat. The price perhaps of never believing that lesser men occasionally do what they have done naturally for many years. Kelly, sometimes referred to as the cannibal, still refuses to give up, setting a pace that no longer carries any hope of saving this day. He may not know it, but this escape is the longest on record for 30 years. In front from the 26th mile, Thomas Wegmuller from Switzerland tries for his greatest moment and attacks with 10 miles to go. He's chased by Dirk de Mol, the Belgian who's been conspicuous by his absence at the front of the group. He's now the only one with the energy to react after 130 miles in the lead. 13 riders tested the water almost 5 hours ago, and if tradition had been followed, they would have been swallowed up long before now. Instead, Wegmuller ranked number 175, and de Mol, somewhat further back at 451, have the chance which they could never have thought possible. With the leaders approaching the finish, Laurent Fignon and the world's best have been made to look the fool, outwitted by a group of riders for whom they have no respect whatsoever. The top riders are about to lose the richest single-day race because they've spent all their time watching one another, believing one of them would win in the end. In this race without precedent, there is one more move to make, and Fignon finally breaks clear of the field, but with no hope of catching the two survivors up ahead. For them, the streets of Roubaix at last are beneath their wheels, and one thing is for sure, the result will not carry the name of Kelly or Fignon, but that of either Dirk de Mol or Thomas Wegmuller.
After 164 miles of adversity with dust and cobblestones, Paris-Roubaix now delivers one of its cruelest ironies. Thomas Wegmuller got a plastic bag sucked into his derailleur, locking his gears, and without the ability to shift, he is virtually helpless in a sprint with de Mol. Fignon has entered town as well, but he knows his fate, and his final effort is much too late. As Wegmuller struggles with the bag, he gets assistance from his team car. Ironically, Dirk de Mol does not seize the opportunity to leave him behind. Instead, he continues to draft. Meanwhile, Sean Kelly wears the blood from a fall he experienced in the last section of cobblestones. His chance for a third victory must now wait at least another year. As the leaders reach the final straightaway, Dirk de Mol positions himself for the pass. With the finish in sight, de Mol reaches for his gear, downshifting for the sprint. Wegmuller's gears are still locked, with a plastic bag still jammed in his derailleur. Helplessly, he looks on as Dirk de Mol, a 29-year-old virtual unknown, pulls off one of the biggest upsets ever at Paris-Roubaix. The 8-year veteran Domestique has raced for 6 different teams in an effort to win his chance. Only a week before, this former factory worker had been dropped by his team for a major classic. Just 3 days ago, he finished 4th in a race, but was not listed in the final results because his team failed to register his number. Now in Roubaix, there's respect. For Thomas Wegmuller, frustration. The pace setter worked the hardest all day, only to fall victim to the cruelest of fates. The final standings show us that Fignon came in 3rd, the best American finisher, Bob Roll. Roy Nickman finished 14 minutes, 12 seconds off the pace. But the story is Dirk de Mol, who wins the world's greatest one-day race, the 44th Belgian champion since 1896.